Welcome into Pro Box TV. We're headed toward February 8th, a huge card in San Antonio, Texas, stacked from top to bottom with 50-50 evenly matched fights. So here to help me break it down, Jimmy Smith alongside the champs, Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi. And you know when it's third from the top and it's a great fight, that it's a great card. That's right, it is Shavkat Rakhimov taking on Justin Paldo. You talk about that Eastern European mystique that is all over boxing right now. That is going to be on display. But Justin Paldo, we were able to interview him. He's not intimidated at all. Paulie, what do you think of this matchup and the confidence of both fighters who have had losses and have had to bounce back? What's your thought on the timing of this one?
You know, I think both guys have shown that they are world class, and they're competing just below world class here. They're right at that cusp where a great performance on Pro Boxing may get you a big shot. You know, that's what we've seen a lot of times here on Pro Box TV, and this is the kind of matchup that sort of reminds me of that. Shavkat Rakhimov has been a world champion. You know, lost a close one with Cordina, lost his IBF super featherweight title, but he's moving up to lightweight. So is the new weight class going to benefit him? Is he going to be too small? Because he's a physical guy. He fights in a physical manner. So is he going to be able to be physical against a more natural lightweight like Justin Paldo, who's kind of a big lightweight? So you know, the curiosity is, can he sort of wear down Paldo? Paldo, on the other hand, really skilled guy. A good boxer, fast hands. A lot of times when he's at his best, when we've seen him at his best, he does a lot of that catch and shoot at close range and gets those hands moving, but also can have a good jab and fast hands at middle range as well. What I didn't like in the Madueño fight, even though it was very close and competitive, and I felt could have gone his way, though it was close, I feel like he sort of started to shy away from some of those catch and shoots that he's so good at close range, where he gets that speed go. Maybe it was Madueño's power was bothering him, I don't know. So he started fighting at mid-range, but he started taking off from the jab. He wasn't consistent enough with the jab. So you start to wonder, against a mentally strong fighter that brings it, does Paldo start to break a little bit? He's got the skills, and we've seen him when he turns it on. He's got a lot of the total package that you want to see from a guy who can compete at world-class level. But does he have that mentality when he's being pressed? I'm wondering, because we may have to see some of that quality again with a guy like Rakhimov, who's not a Mexican, but Eastern Europeans also have a tendency to bring a lot of mental pressure. The positive is, at least this guy is not as big as Madueño. Rakhimov is a super featherweight coming up to lightweight, but he is an ex-world champion, so he knows what he's doing. He's crafty, and he's strong in that way. I think it's a solid matchup where, again, there's enough questions to keep you curious. And I think stylistically, both of these guys have shown that not only are they good, but they're exciting. Can't wait to see this one. It's why you subscribe. It's why I tell you, subscribe. Download the app already. It's what I've been telling you.
That's right. You see great fights February 8th. One of the things about the fighters that move up in weight class, of course, Roy Jones Jr. fought at middleweight, ended up winning a title at heavyweight. Why? He didn't rely on his power. He didn't rely on his durability. Chris, when you look at somebody who moves up in weight class, those are two things that people tend to overestimate when they move up, is their durability. They think they can take a punch out of weight class, and they can't. And they think their punches are going to hurt heavier guys, and often they don't. Does Rakhimov have the style to move up successfully?
I believe so, yes. I mean, he's a former world champion. He was fighting at 130. He fought a dropped a razor-thin decision to Joe Cordina, lost his title then, has been off since then, but is back now at 135. Listen, we had both these guys. We interviewed both of them. Both of them look serious. These are two of the scariest guys on the card fighting each other, which I like. Both of them are very serious. You can tell Paldo stays in the gym, lives in the gym. Rakhimov has got that Eastern European style, very rough, very rugged, even in terms of his personality. I think
Rakhimov was so serious, when we went to interview him, we didn't even get the interview.
Yeah, we didn't even get that. He was too busy training.
Stared at us, that was it.
Yeah, he stared at us, he scared us. We were like, all right, we'll do this later. But listen, to your point, champ, about Madueño. To me, Madueño is a poor man's Rakhimov. Because he's
bigger.
He's bigger, sure, but he's not as tricky. He comes at you front-footed, heavy-footed. He's there to be hit. He's throwing big shots. Rakhimov doesn't do that. He comes at you. He puts a lot of pressure on you, but he's very tricky. He sets up that left hand. He's a very good body puncher. He's also a southpaw. So he's got a lot more style, more finesse than Madueño does, which is why, to your question, Jimmy, I think he's going to be fine moving up. Because he's not just a bruiser. He's not just like a Madueño style where I'm going to come forward and I'm a two-fisted Mexican banging away at both sides. He sets things up. He's smart the way he comes in. He's got a little bit of push and pull. So I think he'll be fine at the weight. But again, as you said, Champ, Justin Paldo's huge for 135. He's one of the biggest, leanest, most ripped 135-pounders I've seen in recent years at this level. He's a fantastic boxer. He's got excellent counter shots, like you said, those catch and shoots. He's very quick. Really good gas tank, too, which you've seen on our air. So, but he does tend to get a little handcuffed when guys are aggressive. He doesn't counter as much as he should, like we saw in that last fight, which is why he dropped that decision to Madueño. Can he do it again with a guy like Rakhimov, who is a former world champion and is even better than Madueño? We'll see.
You know what? I'm convinced. I didn't think maybe he was a poor man's Rakhimov, but you see, this is why. Like we're like Shaq and Kobe over here. I thought the alley-oop. No, because he said he's a poor man's Rakhimov, and I'm like, but he's bigger. But that was the alley-oop, because then he says, but he's not as tricky. Boom!
Bam!
That's what, and then he gives the explanation. That's what I'm telling you guys. Download, subscribe, download the app already, guys. What are you waiting for? Download the app.
As an LA native, I hope you guys can work together for more than a couple of years. That's all I'm saying, is I would have gotten more years of that. Anyway, the question I have for both of you.
You know what? It's better than Shaq and Penny, at least. At least
Thank
got
you.
the championships.
Thank you. I'm with that as a Lakers fan. Look, here's the deal. The two things, they're both coming off long layoffs and they're coming off losses. Let me start with you, Paulie, about that psychology of coming off that loss. It can break you or it can teach you. When do you think it rears its head? Early in the fight? We see if they're mentally over that loss. What's your thought?
I mean, with both of these guys, aren't both of these guys coming off losses?
Both coming off losses. Their last
Don't
fight.
laugh and off.
So it's really, it brings an interesting proposition, because you're going to be determined mentally before the fight. I have to make that wrong right now. I am ready to make that wrong into a right, and I'm motivated, and I'm pissed off. And sometimes it is like that. You get out there, and that's how you fight. But sometimes you get to that point where you like that, and then you get in there, and you're like, I don't have that mentality anymore. I want to see where we're at here, because I don't like long layoffs after that. I feel like you got to jump right back in. I feel like you got to jump right back in to convince yourself. But Poldo says he hasn't been outside the gym. He's been in the gym the whole time. So he's been working on his craft.
We talked to him.
Yeah, so, I mean, now you got to be in the gym. You're close to the fight.
Yeah.
But long layoff, it's possible. But that's why we do the fights, right? I mean, we can say this, that in the gym. We can say this under the lights, how you're going to show it, I like guys who stay busy. I really felt like the close fight with Madueño, there was still a demand for Poldo, so I didn't like that there has been this layoff. But I'm curious to see him back. And with Rakhimov, I mean, he could still be a world champion. The Cordina fight was that close, So, but then all of a sudden, look at that. It doesn't go your way a little bit here, and then all of a sudden you come back and you go on a slide and you get beat. And so both of these guys have to show that determination and hunger, because they're coming off losses. A loss here means a little bit more detriment than an average loss on Pro Box TV.
I'm gonna push back a little bit. I don't think it affects either one of these guys. You know why?
Right.
You know why? Listen, because Rakhimov won, Eastern European. Okay, yeah. he's gonna show up and work. But also, to his point, he's not a very marketable guy. He loses that title, we're not gonna see him. He's not gonna. No one's gonna bring him right back. Unfortunate for him, but guess what? Guy didn't stay. I guarantee you that guy didn't stay out of the gym. He's in the gym that whole time, and
Those
again,
guys like robots.
Exactly. And mentally, like I said, those Eastern European, that style, they're just hard people. He's going to come forward. This is going to be like any other fight. He's going to be as prepared as ever. I guarantee it. And with Paldo, honestly, I've yet to see guys. We don't see this in Americans. He's very focused, very, very focused, very serious young man. He knows what he is. He said today, "I have world-class talent." I agree. And he wants to go out there and right the wrong from the last fight. I think he learned a lot of lessons from that last fight, even though it was a while ago. But I guarantee you, down in Houston, those gyms are serious. He did not leave the gym either. I bet you he's been sparring this whole year. So I don't think it's going to affect either one of these guys. This is going to be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, for me, their body language still represents
very serious
action. Like they're still looking for it. To me, for me, the action is the juice.
It is the juice. I'm in.
We're in. Are you in? Download the Pro Box TV app then, all right? Poldo versus Rakhimov, another great fight on this card.
When you look at it, gentlemen, we've done at this table is every combat sport you could ever think of. Ring rust tends to reveal itself early. If someone doesn't have the time and they have them in the gym, in the first couple rounds. That's why you tune in early on Pro Box TV. As Paulie said, download the app. Don't miss any of it. February 8th. That's right, San Antonio, Texas, 50-50 all-action fights. Find out why millions are watching. We'll see you then.